So without further ado, I would like to invite Stanley, our amazing moderator from New Energy Nexus, to get on the stage and to introduce all the speakers for this great panel.
Thank you, John. So just as a quick introduction while everyone's getting water, New Energy Nexus, we're a global organization. We're the world's largest climate and energy accelerator. So we have about 15 offices. We run a number of programs supporting entrepreneurs to develop the climate tech that we see today and that we're talking about today. So we focus on 4 specific verticals: renewable energy, energy efficiency, industrial decarbonization, and also in the mobility space as well. So that's the focus of today's panel. And looking forward to having our panelists come on stage and do the reverse pitch. So first off, I wanted to, is Vicky here? Yeah, Vicky. I wanted to introduce Vicky Janssens, General Manager of Southeast Asia for the Click Foundation. Good to see you again, Vicky.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Vicky from the Click Foundation, or this is short for Foundation for Climate Protection and Carbon Offset. We are a private entity that has a very clear legal mandate under the Swiss CO2 law. So under this law, the Swiss motor fuel importers have the obligation to compensate some of the emissions from the road traffic by supporting projects either in Switzerland or abroad. And we are fulfilling this legal obligation on their behalf. For projects abroad, the framework under which we are working is the Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. Some of you might have heard of it. Basically, a part of this Article 6 allows a country like Switzerland to support financially for programs into climate protection in another country, for example, Thailand. And then in exchange, the Swiss government can count the reductions of CO2 emission to help achieve its own NDC. And the goal is to help those partner countries to raise their climate ambition. So you might be wondering why I'm here, because we're not a startup, we're not a big corporates, usual type of investors, we're not governments, but we are very interested in supporting programs into climate protection, and there is quite a lot of money for this. So we have a huge appetite. We are looking into programs abroad that can help us achieve our target of 20 million tons of reductions of CO2 emissions. We have only 11 countries where we can do that because it depends on a bilateral agreement between Switzerland and another one. Thailand is the only one in Asia at the moment. So for this, we need partners, startup, big corporates, investors, ideally all of them together. And why working with us rather than a voluntary carbon market, for example? So first of all, we pay a higher price than the voluntary market. We have a fixed price that we agree on a contract with the company, with the partner, until 2030. And then we agree to purchase the real reductions of CO2 emissions. So you don't depend on a volatile market. We have funding available also to design the project. One disadvantage, of course, is because we are under a government-to-government agreement, then process can be a bit lengthy. But at the same time, we work under a compliance market. So it means we are under pressure to achieve our target. And so you can count on us as a reliable and also quick partner. And that ensures more security for the partner. And then because we can ensure the highest quality in terms of environmental integrity, ambition, additionality, real reductions of CO2 emission, also contribution to sustainable development, avoiding double counting. All this is usually helping for a VC, for example, to improve its reputation. So. And then in terms of sectors, we're interested in many different sectors: renewable energy, biogas, energy efficiency, e-mobility, waste management, green cooling, sustainable cement, sustainable rice. I'm sure I forgot some. It always depends on criteria of the two governments that are partnering together. But for Thailand specifically, we know that they're asking us to look at programs that require a very large investment and to bring new and advanced technology. So this is why I'm here today. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Vicky. Looking forward to hearing more about those projects later on the panel. Next, we have Sebastien Dupuy, Vice President of Conglomerate Investment Holdings for Siam Motor Group.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kukai and Johan, for inviting me. Siam Motors Group. So usually we don't participate to this kind of events. I guess I represent investors here, and because of Johan and Kukai invited me, I am pleased to have a speech with you. Siam Motors Group, 70 years of existence. We have 66 this year portfolio companies. We have been built over JVs, strategic partnerships with European and Japanese companies. The consolidated revenue of the group is $7 billion per year. We employ 23,000 staff. We are present in Thailand, but not only, in ASEAN, Laos, Cambodia, Singapore, Malaysia. We have $3.5 billion asset under management. We run multi-asset class strategies. We are heavily invested in private equity, of course, but we have also a broad portfolio of real estate, credit, financial asset, public asset, fixed income, and stocks. We run also a private family office, which is the second investment vehicle, which is designed for the next generation, where we invest in more aggressive, growth-oriented startups, early stage companies, climate, which plays also the role of incubator for the conglomerate. So we see a huge opportunities in electrification, of course, but if we start from the battery making, our group sees a big opportunities upstream and downstream. We won't go in the battery making business. Energy storage, automotive software, AI applied to automotive, wireless battery management system, big data analytics for commercial vehicles, fleet management. Two-wheelers represent good opportunities also in Southeast Asia. And tier 1, tier 2 EV components. This is where we will go. How much do we invest? We invest from $1 million to 60, 70-ish $1 million per deal. We plan to do 2 to 3 big deals per year, and then a series of smaller deals on the early stage. How do we invest? We invest either in individual startup or through VC managers. Okay. And why Siam Motors Group is a good partner, a strong partner for climate tech venture, strategic alignment, 70 years of track record in the automotive, industrial manufacturing sector, industry expertise. Founders and startups have access to a very large network of engineer, expert, leaders in those industries. So a huge network. Long-term view. I think that is very important. When we invest, is buy and hold. We never exit. We invest for the very long term. Our roadmap is 70 to 100 years. Very, very similar to an endowment approach or strategy, because we are backed by one single family. So we plan for the very long term and multi-generation. Value creation, we are usually minority partner, but we are active and we are happy to collaborate with our partner and create value. And so we thank everyone here, and we are happy to explore and create a better future together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sebastien. Next, we have Kun Norasak, Suphakorntanakit, AVP, Strategy, Development and Investment from Energy Absolute.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Norasak. You just call me Kim easier because I got a very long name. I come from Energy Absolute, or you can call EA. In EA, we have 3 business sectors. The first sector is biodiesel. So we have 800,000 liters production capacity per day. And then we have the green diesel that we produce from the used cooking oil. We start export to Europe already and then successfully accepted by the UK and EU countries. And the next thing that we want to develop in our biodiesel business is the sustainable aviation fuel, which we are currently upgrading our plant to produce that SAF by I think mid of next year. So we hope that in the future, the air transport will be more green, because I think it's a bit difficult to use the battery for the aviation because it may be a bit scary. The second one, we have the power business. We have the solar farm and wind farm. Together is 664 megawatt. And we continue to look for the opportunity to invest more. The third one is our, I think, the largest sector at the moment is the EV ecosystem. We have the battery factory. We reached 1 gigawatt hour production capacity last year. And this year we are expanding to 2 gigawatt hour and to 4 and 8 gigawatt hours later. We also have the assembly plant for the commercial bus and commercial vehicle, for example, like a garbage truck, a tractor, and a truck. So we can tailor-make all our product because we have our own battery factory. And also we have the EV charging station, and technology we have is fast charge, 50% up to 15 minutes up to 80% of the battery. And in the future, we are looking to do more like a recycle of the battery or the use of the second life cycle of the battery as well, maybe in the energy storage system. For the startup, we were looking many deals. For example, like we are looking at a cold chain company in Thailand, a startup company that try to use our EV truck and then incorporate in their fleet. So we are quite open and willing to collaborate with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have Chutimon Sangain from the BTS group.
Hi, everybody. So I'm May from BTS Group. And before anything else, I just want to say, when you hear the word BTS Group, I'm sure most of you will think of the BTS SkyTrain that you probably took on your way here. But we're actually more than that, because BTS Group is comprised of 3 core businesses: Move, Mix, and Match. Now, Move is our multimodal transportation solutions that includes our rail network that extends over 140 kilometers, and our non-rail networks, such as, but not limited to, inner-city and city buses, motorways, and the highly anticipated Utapao Airport, which is set to transform Thailand into the aviation hub and economic gateway to Asia. Now, as for our Mix, is our offline-to-offline platform solutions that includes our advertising, payment, and distribution services, coupled with our smart data analytics to generate proprietary data, which will be used to enhance our reach to customers. Now, to tie this all up, our Match business is our strategic partnership arm, which focuses on leveraging the smart data to enhance the synergy and sustainably grow for business growth for our 3M business as well as our business partners. Throughout all of this, since inception back in 1999, BTS Group has avoided up to 1.9 million tons of carbon dioxide. And to top it all off, we've raised over $20 million through sustainable finance to mobilize capital towards low carbon infrastructure. Now, all of this, we were able to achieve carbon neutrality back in 2020, and we have been the world's most sustainable transportation company for 3 years in a row, as ranked by the S&P Global. Now, all of this to say, I think most people forget that we've been electric since 1999, and so the question for us in 2023 is, how do we make something relatively clean even cleaner? So that's when we come in, and as of this, at present, most of our tactics have been more geared towards energy efficiency and increasing our renewable energy consumption. However, our investment areas are, for our rail first, focuses on improving energy efficiency through tech-based solutions, and as well as increasing our use of clean energy throughout our entire rail network. Now, with this, 10% of our electricity is from renewable sources, but obviously this number will grow further in the coming months, actually, due to the solar installation projects we have set to commence on our pink and yellow line depots. But obviously, we don't want to stop there. We want to power 100% of it with clean energy and provide that as a mode of transport for our passengers. Now, aside from our rail network, we have our non-rail business, which basically the sky's the limit, and it's basically how do you become better by being cleaner. And so with that, it's whether that's supporting our inner city bus decarbonization of that service, or either to set in stone that vision we've made for Utapao Airport to become the smart and sustainable city, and possibly a climate positive one. The sky's the limit, and the investment support that we can give you, whether it's a partnership on investment, is funding up to $20 million US and being access to the proprietary data as well as prototyping facilities and talents. And together, we really hope that your innovations are borderless and there's really no limit here. And so I'm happy to share more about that. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Oh, really looking forward to this panel. There's fact sets of experts from every mode of types of transportation and across the whole value chain as well. So let's kick it off with Vicky. Last year we were on this kind of a similar panel. You're announcing your big project with Energy Absolute with the e-buses. Can you give us a brief update about that project and where things are at now?
Yes, sure. So the last panel we were together was in August last year, and then we were about to start the e-bus program in Bangkok. So I'm sure now quite all of you have seen the first buses from EA that are running around Bangkok. So we're very proud because this is the first program that we have done under the Swiss-Thai collaboration, the bilateral agreement that we signed in June last year. And then there've been buses, now you correct me, Kong Kim, but I think already 1,000 buses that are running in Bangkok. And then so the reductions of CO2 emissions from these buses will be purchased by the Click Foundation and then given to the Swiss government. Where we are now, a milestone that we achieved is in March, the two governments authorized that program to work under Article 6, and this is an important step not just for this program, but in the Article 6 framework that is still very, very new, is the second program authorized in the whole world and the first one in Asia. So it really sets a framework not just for Thailand, but for the region, and then other examples for hopefully a lot of other e-mobility programs under Article 6. And now EA and the carbon consultants, South Pole, and their colleagues, they're monitoring and then analyzing all the data, the reductions of CO2 emission from buses last year, from October to December. And then there's a quite long process to make sure that these reductions are real. It might take a few more months, but then hopefully this will be the first transaction of those reductions of CO2 emission in the world, because again, this is the second project in the whole world that is happening under Article 6, and that could be the first one. I think for technicalities, Kun Kim would be better to answer.
Great. We'll get to him in a bit. And then so from start to finish, what is the total duration this will take? And also any other new projects in the pipeline that you want to share with the audience?
So our timeline framework is end of 2030, because this is Paris Agreement. This is the bilateral agreement that we have to. So we signed together for 500,000 tons of CO2 emissions reduction by this 2030. This is the equivalent of about a bit less than 2,000 buses, but we're already at 1,000 buses. So hopefully we can sign for more buses. That will depend of also the Thai government. And then right now we are looking at a program on sustainable rice, alternate wetting and drying, where you use less water to reduce the methane emission. We receive a concept proposal. We have good feedback from the government, but we need their approval in writing before we can start developing the program. And that would be in central provinces, it's all around, it's 15 provinces. It's interesting because it's actually a Thai startup, a daughter company from PTTEP, and they have developed an app where they can, that are linked to satellites, so it's real monitoring from the reductions of methane emission, and it calculates directly those reductions through the app, and also the number of carbon credit that the farmers could get from this program. So we really hope that it goes through. That would be a very different setup than what we had with Energy Absolute. And otherwise, we're looking at different types of biofuel programs, from bioethanol, from cassava starch waste, for example, turn into biofuel or sustainable aviation fuel. Like this is something we're happy to discuss. Sustainable ACs, but also other type of EVs. So there are a few ideas of flowing like e-trucks, e-tuk-tuk, or long-distance e-buses that are more than 300K. So in terms of infrastructure, that would be more difficult to implement and more challenging, more costly. So that's why I think there's interest from the Thai government. Then otherwise, there are plenty of other area, green cooling, district cooling. We're not excluding carbon capture storage, but this is something very expensive. So we have to see if this is doable.
Great. Plenty of opportunities for large companies and also entrepreneurs alike. So moving to Sebastien. Siam Motor Group obviously has a wide footprint, right? From all the different industries that you're in. How do you take a look at, the new energy strategy and the strategy to decarbonize, and how do you start and attack that?
Yeah, so we try to connect the dots. So just as a refresher, Siam Motors Group, we still have the word motors, but we are a diversified conglomerate. We have 6 business lines: automotive OEM, auto parts, construction, hospitality, education, and real estate financial investment. So we see the next steps in terms of new energy, climate tech, renewables as a holistic approach, and we try to extend each of our business line to its successful next step. So the basic question we ask ourselves when we meet startup or new project is it our next Hitachi? Is it our next Komatsu? Is it our next Nissan? Because we see that from a long-term perspective. So for each of those business lines, we have clearly identified the targets, the sectors that we want to be in. And we are happy to partner with startups, but also conglomerate like EA, like Gulf Energy, and synergize. And make sure also that it benefits Thailand employment, and Thailand growth. Okay. Maybe you know that our family office, not SMG directly, the family office brought BYD to Thailand, which is a good first step. But now we are looking more at the manufacturing, IP in Thailand, bringing technology and product in Thailand. That's a very important part of our mission.
Great, thank you. And can you give an example of some of the climate tech investments that you guys have made, and how does it contribute to overall company's growth and profitability today?
Yeah, so 2 years ago, we have invested in drones and helicopter startup powered by Yamaha technology to spray fertilizer to be more efficient and so and so. Still nascent, very fragmented industry, does not contribute too much to the top line, but it's a long-term shot. We are happy to stick to our plan for the coming decade as we see the potential. Very direct investment, maybe a bit outside of the startup world, but we have developed and built a 33 smart building, office building in the heart of Siam called Siam Patum One House, which is fully certified, fit well, LEED, environmental, wire score, energy efficient, where we bring and we display also the strengths of all our partners like Hitachi and Sumitomo Construction. So yeah, this is how we synergize in the group. Another startup is facility management, because we are in the real estate development. Facility management software, application, connected to smart cities. We want to leverage our properties. So try also to connect our buildings to other buildings and sell this solution to other building owners. And lastly, not yet invested, but we are talking to many, of course, Chinese players, now European players, thanks to the big push of Thai government and incentive and BOI. So very involved here to bring them, partner with them to solidify or grow the EV supply chain. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Kun Norasak. So Energy Absolute has been the leader in many different electrification of transportation projects, right? I just, you mentioned just the Sustainable Aviation Fuels one. So how are these projects usually originated and funded? Like, where does the process start?
There are different process. I think, thankfully, we have Kun Sompot. He's a founder and CEO of Energy Absolute. He's a visionary guy, so he introduced a lot of ideas and then let the team work, develop the ideas. Also, we get a lot of ideas from the business partner, like Vicky, like all of our vendors, and also for the employees as well. We can initiate the ideas and propose to the management team, and they think if it's feasible, then they let us to develop the project. Yeah, and for the funding, normally we have two tranche of the funding. The first one is a traditional one, is a debt, and also with the equity side. But equity side, we don't look for the raising the new capital. We just reinvest the free cash flow from the operating cash flow into the new business. And for the non-traditional funding is, for example, like the program that we do with CRIC, that the carbon fund that support our EV bus project, for example. And we are working on the new untraditional funding as well, but I cannot tell you at the moment because we are a listed company. So it's a bit secret. Yeah, we hope to launch soon.
All right. Then maybe any new initiatives or projects that you can share with the audience?
Yes, I can share what you have a bit seen on the press. For example, like the e-locomotive that we co-developed with the CRC of China Railway. And then we put in our battery into that locomotive and change with the diesel locomotive. So we have 2 locomotives at the Bangsu station at the moment for the trial run. And I heard it's went quite well. And after that, there may be some order from the state railway. Let's see in the future. For other product, we also develop another, we have the e-ferry in the Chao Phraya River. We will add more. And then we are developing a new product on the water transport as well. So yeah, that we hope to introduce and surprise you soon. For the commercial vehicle, for example, like EV garbage truck, we hope that to let the government or the municipal in Thailand to adopt the EV garbage truck because, like in Bangkok, we have more than 2,000 garbage truck. And then if we can replace that with the EV garbage truck, it will reduce a lot of carbon and also the PM 2.5. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Kun Mei, so you shared a lot about the BTS group and all the business units that I'm sure a lot of us in the audience didn't really know about. So what about the sustainability team? How do you approach a sustainability strategy for the group and the different business units?
So BTS Group has been primarily focused on maintaining and achieving carbon neutrality ahead of the Paris Agreement. I think the first company to actually achieve carbon neutrality was Google back in 2007, and we were able to do that in 2020. And so with that, it's been trying to make that and maintaining that and keep up with it. So that's either through the provision of low products and services and improving that, or improving our energy efficiency. And in recent years, it's been focused on increasing the use of renewable energy. So that's the primary focus of the team. Yes.
Great. And you mentioned some of the sustainable finance that the group has gotten. Which focus areas does that financing go for?
So I think the first bond we issued was a green bond. So it's primarily focused on mobilizing that towards low carbon infrastructure. But then as of late, we've been more focused on the issuance of our SLBs, and most notably the latest SLB that's available to retail investors. So with that, it's basically broadening our scope of investment to be more broad in terms of sustainability. And with that, it's been primarily focused on energy efficiency as well as clean energy in line with our strategy.
Great, thank you. And maybe a question for all of the panelists. Since this is about electrification of transportation, what would it take for us to really drive a mass adoption of electric mobility and electric transportation solutions in Thailand? Anyone can start first?
Yeah, I think first of all, I think you need to use our bus. There's 1,000 buses out there, and it will be increased into 3,000. I think in the mid of this year. So yeah, please, and also e-ferry. So if you took the one ride, we have a cab fare, 40 baht, e-ferry and bus. So that will help a lot.
I think if I may
Please.
give an input on this as well, I think for most people, I think the BTS was actually many of their first electric vehicle. And so with that, it promotes this model shift, lifestyle, more sustainable way to travel. And so along with EV ferries and EV buses, there's also the electric train.
Thank you. Yes, so it's about the electrification for us, not only. We bet also on other technologies like hydrogen. We should partner with a German partner. I think the big players are waiting for volumes and scale. Today we are building the infrastructure, but economically, from a financial investment perspective, is still challenging. So I think that's the next step for a big push in electrification is financial returns and make the figures add up. And this will come with volume, with more volume. Education also, government could push a bit in terms of education, awareness about EV, the performance, the benefits. Policies, there is a good set of policies in Thailand, but could be even extended, like what has been done in Europe or Singapore. I think there are good practices that could be expanded in Thailand. Yeah.
Yeah, I think among the different companies or stakeholders I've been talking to, they always mention two main challenges for EV is infrastructure and finances. Because even with EA, I mean, for any program that we would do, we need to prove financial additionality. So EA came to us, even though it's a very big corporate, because they wouldn't have a business by making e-buses. There's no subsidies from the government. So if you want to change thousands of buses from IC to electronic buses, you manufacture them. They have digital ticket to connect them better and then connected with other EV transportation. They added lines, so it's better connected to other public transportation. And this, the only return on investment is 15 baht, I think, per ticket. So, I mean, nobody will start that kind of business. So I think finances, it's really a lot. It can be climate finance, carbon finance, anything. It could be also linked to policies. So that's why we're happy to look at some more EV programs. And yeah, the infrastructure, actually also something where we are looking at, because it's the beginning of the electrification. This is where you need the most money. This is the most challenging. But without the infrastructure, you cannot move anywhere. So
Great, thank you. So we have a couple minutes left. I really love the commitment question, right? So, I mean, I'll give you guys a little bit more time, right? So let's say 1 year, right? We're on the stage again next year at this event. What are we going to say we've achieved or committed in terms of low carbon mobility? Anyone, please, first.
Yeah. Within 1 year, probably you will see with us 1 or 2 big partnerships with Chinese or European player. You will see us invest in more in venture capital dedicated to climate tech. Yeah, without revealing too much. But yeah, we have a budget earmarked for those technologies, and yeah, it will happen. We have also decided to spin off a business line entirely dedicated to climate and sustainable energy with their proper team and proper budget. So that's a big commitment for us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, I think for the biodiesel, we commit that we can produce the sustainable aviation fuel. I think by mid of next year. For the EV business, we commit to expand our battery factory to up to 2 gigawatt hour. And then for the commercial product, I think of course, the bus will go up to 3,000 bus in Bangkok. And then we try to expand it further. And also we try to introduce other lines of product of the EV as well for Bangkok and Thailand. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
I think for BTS Group, it's more broadening and really honing our motto and borderless transformative solutions, so specifically in Move. So really, I think just solving the most challenging problem about public transportation is the first to last mile, right? So obviously going to the BTS, sure, sustainable, but then from your house going to the station. So making that whole way of commute being possibly net zero or clean. Aside from that, it's also to increase the use of clean energy within our operations, and that's something we're really excited about in the coming years. And yeah, so we hope that new startups and innovations can help us achieve that even faster than we hope to. But all of this also depends on the supply itself at the source. So with that, we really hope that we could help nudge in some way, increase clean energy sources within the Thai grid as well. Yeah.
Thank you, May.
So for me, I would say I can commit to continue making more known about this possibility, Article 6, but we're not developing programs, so I cannot commit on any program or on any EV. What I can say is that we're ready to spend $100 million in Thailand by 2030 for programs, but it really depends on you. If you don't come with any programs then we can support, then my colleagues that are working in Ghana and Senegal and Uruguay, they will develop the programs over there. But we're really hopeful that there's a lot of potential in Thailand. So please come, don't be shy, come talk to me, and then we can see together what kind of program we can develop. So this I can commit to talk to as many people as possible to find programs.
Great, thank you, Vicky. And at New Energy Nexus, all we do is run programs. So if we support entrepreneurs getting into the climate tech space. If you're looking to start a business in energy or mobility, climate tech, let us know. Thank you all.